Hi, everyone. Welcome to the November edition of Pitch Perfect. Very excited to have you here today. We're just going to give everyone a couple minutes to start joining in. And now, just before we get into the actual presentation, just want to go through kind of our standard disclosures for today. So this presentation may contain forward-looking information. There can be no assurance that forward-looking information will prove to be accurate, as actual results and future events could differ materially from those anticipated in such statements. Accordingly, viewers should not place undue reliance on forward-looking information. Today, we're switching things up a little bit. It's an opportunity to join us virtually to learn about our mission, motivations, and investment opportunities, which means we're going to get a 15-minute pitch presentation from Peter Paul, and then we'll go through a bit of an investor Q&A. So I guess a little bit about myself and FrontFundr. I actually started as an investor on the platform in 2018. And then I became a shareholder in FrontFundr in 2019. And then later that year, I actually started working at FrontFundr. So I'll be asking questions today as a user of the platform, a shareholder in FrontFundr, an employee at FrontFundr, and hope that you guys all come prepared with some great questions as well. Peter Paul is going to be ready to answer them all. But for right now, I would like to turn things over to Peter Paul for the FrontFundr pitch.
Thanks, Lies. Okay, there we go. So again, welcome everyone. I'm the founder and CEO of FrontFundr. We're Canada's leading investment crowdfunding platform. So what are we doing with FrontFundr? We're addressing two big problems. On the first side, we have entrepreneurs looking for capital. Each year, 95,000 new companies are founded and need capital. 30% of these startups are struggling, like Sarah is an entrepreneur. Sarah is also a female entrepreneur, and there's also no equal access really to capital. Female entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs are underrepresented. So it's difficult for entrepreneurs to raise capital. So that's the first problem we're addressing. Now, on the other side, we have the investor like Nick. Millions of other Canadians like Nick are looking for investing in their future. Real estate is for many of them inaccessible. And they already have turned to public markets. 12.3 million Canadians are already investing through direct investing platforms to invest in publicly traded stock, but not yet in the private markets. And generally speaking, to sort of diversify your portfolio, to invest 10% of your assets in private equity investment makes a lot of sense. But how do you do that? Because currently 96% of Canadians be locked out from doing that. So there's a major untapped opportunity for retail investors to get into the private markets. So what's the solution? We basically connect Sarah with Nick. And how do we do that? We build Canada's leading equity crowdfunding platform and bring it digital and enable Sarah to basically pitch her idea to Nick and many other investors. So how do we do that? Sarah can build a campaign page, launch on FrontFundr. She can follow her campaign through an analytics dashboard, and the entire closing process for Sarah, so accruing investments and closing, is all automated and digitized. So it's really easy for entrepreneurs to broadcast their capital raise to the public. And for Nick has access to curated deals. Important to understand, FrontFundr is a curated marketplace. It's not like a Craigslist and we list everything that comes to us. We curate deals to make sure that investors can make informed investment decisions. Nick can invest from everywhere. He has an online investment dashboard to make multiple investments and manage his investments. So we digitized the project, the whole entire process. To give you an idea, Nick could invest if he wanted to. He should take more time to inform himself, but he could invest from start to finish in as little as 12 minutes. So it gives you an idea how we fully digitize it. And he can invest for as little as $500, sometimes even less, $250. So the platform we operate, our platform is fully registered to exempt market dealer. I think it's fair to say we've been pioneering this space in Canada, working closely with the securities regulators to become the first exempt market dealer. And that enables us to use all prospectus exemptions and maximize investor outreach. We build our proprietary technology platform, fully digitized, and it automates, as mentioned earlier, the entire investment process. And for that, for investors, they have a dashboard to keep track of their investments and follow updates, etc. There you go. So the market opportunity. What is really exciting to see is that equity crowdfunding is really gaining traction globally and also now in Canada. So it's really becoming a go-to way of funding. And it's also evidenced by the fact that traditional funding groups, such as VCs, angels, and they are becoming more and more receptive for equity crowdfunding. They appreciate the value of using it as an additional channel, particularly as a branding exercise, and particularly for CPG and impact investing, to maximize outreach and basically co-invest. And so a good example here on the right, you see this is a case study. TipTap is actually a returning issuer. They're live on our platform right now. They did a raise with us in 2021. They raised close to $900,000, which is about 10% of their total raise. So you see here, they also work with other channels, Haywood, Canaccord, the traditional brokers, and we are basically, excuse me, adding the retail investor, which is really exciting to see. In fact, in this raise, we're number 3 to help them raise capital. And finally, this is really, equity crowdfunding is really from seed to later stage as well. And so we see companies that are coming to us to raise $500,000 to now companies doing like a TipTap, much larger raises. And as they grow, come back to us, which is really exciting to see. With regards to the market size, so there's a tremendous market opportunity in the private markets. And you're looking here at the sheet, this is Canada only actually. So the total market of $180 billion per year. So this is new capital raised each year. We believe that the serviceable addressable market for us is $6 billion per year. And within 3 years, we're aiming to do 3% of that. So 200 million per year in new issuance through our platform. So our market position, in a way, it's I mentioned early on how investors are already investing direct in the public markets. You could see FrontFundr essentially as a sort of a well symbol for the private capital markets. So really what we're doing, what differentiates us, is to open it up for all investors, accredited and retail investors, and enable them to invest in private markets opportunity. Inclusive funding is another key point here. Is really, we mentioned earlier how access to funding is not equal for everyone. It's difficult for different groups of entrepreneurs. That's the other thing we want to address really here, to provide entrepreneurs better access to capital. And we do that in a way, and this is also where we leverage our exam market leader status and the fact that we really want to drive transparency and make sure that investors can make informed investment decisions. We have many investors may have never invested before, so we take that really serious we build and maintain a transparent private marketplace. So with regards to our revenue model, first off, we don't charge investors yet, perhaps in the future, but for now, we really want to maximize the investor sign-ups. We don't charge investors. We actually charge the capital raise on the platform. The way we do that is, first off, issuers, capital raisers pay us a listing fee, which is anywhere between $5,500 to $10,000 to get them ready to perform due diligence, to work with campaign management, and get them on the platform. Secondly, we take the trade fees. So this is essentially a commission, if you like, on the success, on the funds processed through the platform. Typically, that's between 6 to 8% cash and 6 to 8% warrants. And that's really important for you as an existing or prospective investor in FrontFundr, is that as FrontFundr, we're building up a warrant book, which gives us the right to purchase shares in these companies that we raised through the platform. Secondly, we provide additional service to these companies, help them with drafting offering documentation, with additional marketing service to drive their campaign, registered plans. This is actually really interesting, and many people don't realize that, but you can invest in private companies through registered plans, such as your RSP. And we, of course, have closing services when you close the campaigns on platform. The other thing really exciting is we're gaining traction with deploying our platform as a service. And that's really interesting because it's recurring revenues. And one of the big partnerships we actually launched last year is with TELUS. So what we're doing with TELUS is they see a lot of companies they're investing in through accelerators, incubators, and they wanted to open it up for their employees. So we provide them a sort of a white labeled private deal, TELUS Kickstarter called, to enable their employees to invest through in these companies. And TELUS is leveraging both, of course, our technology platform, as well as the fact that we're an EMD, we curate these deals, so it gives them sort of the credibility of offering these opportunities to their employees. All right, so a couple of key numbers here. Let's just go right to the bottom. We've done over 110 raises now through the platform. We raised over $140 million processed through the platform, over 16,000 transactions, investments, and we now have a community of over 35,000 investors. So we're definitely gaining traction, and that's really exciting. So what is our growth strategy on the revenue side? We will finish this year, 2022, our financial year, end of September, just over 2 million, including that warrant income that I mentioned earlier. And we're obviously looking to now accelerate growth and head towards the 3 million. Same on the investor side. Really lots of work to do for us now that we're getting great traction, is to build out the investor community, more quality deals, more investors, driving more repeat investments. And the way we're doing that is partnering in the ecosystem, building partnerships. One I'm really excited about, because we just closed that partnership with Hold Accelerator. Hold Accelerator is raising capital for startups from their investor community, and we're basically going to help them to partner with them to run it through our platform, and again build a sort of a private deal room for them, in a way sort of similar to Telus. So that there's really exciting opportunity there. Obviously, also generating the market. We are working with other platforms also in the US to support co-listings, and we already talked, of course, about the exciting Telus partnership. Let's see.
Here.
Right, so you see a lot of campaign cards, as we call them here, 27. And this again, this evidence is we're gaining traction, we're gaining momentum in the market, particularly now, as you can imagine, with a more challenging funding environment. We now have 27 deals live on the platform. That is an all-time record, which we're really proud of. All right. The team, obviously, this can only be done with an amazing team, and we do have an amazing team. And just the thing I want to note here is that we have a really strong multidisciplinary team of obviously sales, marketing, compliance, ventures. We perform due diligence on each deal that comes on the platform, and of course our technology team. So we bring all those capabilities together, and that's really why we're doing what we're doing, and we're growing fast. With regards to our raise, so we kicked off our raise. We're on our way. Our target raise is 2.5 million. You see here a breakdown of the key use of proceeds. Obviously, continue to drive product innovation, so advancing our product, our platform, building out functionalities for both entrepreneurs and also on the investor side. So that's one. Secondly, we're an inflection point, so it's about scaling the business now, building out our community. So we're investing in sales and marketing, and creating and advancing our exposure. And of course, we do that by also supporting the growth of the team across the board. So we're on our way. We're actually now just short of 60, maybe 59% on our raise. So that's pretty exciting, of this 2.5 target. And we've done this before. As I often say, we've been drinking our whiskey before. Is this the fourth time?
Absolutely. I think
fifth time. There you go. Fifth time. And it's just really exciting to walk the talk and to basically do what we also offer to our clients, both entrepreneurs and investors. So that is with regards to, oops, that's what happened here. There we go here. And that's it. 15 minutes, maybe a bit more.
So with that in mind, I'm just going to stop the share here quickly, and we'll begin taking some investor questions. We also have some additional slides prepared at the end. So one of the things, just kicking things off with the 27 deals that we currently have on the platform, which is a huge milestone, definitely something to highlight. It's also, pretty comparable number across the international markets as well in terms of live listings. And when I started just 3 years ago, there were only 4 live deals on the platform. So we've really grown. We've been able to scale that since then, which is quite a tremendous accomplishment. So would you say that level of deals is something we can kind of expect to continue from here? And what do you think is kind of driving that change that we now see so many deals consistently?
Yeah, well, we're definitely, as I mentioned earlier, we're gaining momentum. And when I say it's not just FrontFundr, but also this market. And often we sort of see where it's going, what is the potential of what we're doing here. As we look at the UK, where investment crowdfunding started about 5 years earlier, around 2010, so they've been in it now for over 10 years. And what you see in the UK is about 40% of startups actually raised through FrontFundr platforms. So it's really went mainstream already there. The other thing we see there is how traditional investors, I alluded to that in the presentation, are starting to co-invest with these platforms as well. So with the retail investor, which is really great to see, because this is not about replacing something or competing, it's complementary. So the only ways up really, like the private markets are becoming opened up, available to retail investors. So that's one. And the other thing I would say to that, why we're also seeing now increased traction on our platform and 27 live deals, is that certainly right now it's becoming obviously more challenging to raise capital. So as an entrepreneur, I mean, obviously when channels are becoming thinner in terms of funding, it's better to have more options than less. So we also experience how entrepreneurs are open to explore multiple options and also looking now to use investment crowdfunding, which right away I also want to make note is that that means that when we look at companies, that certainly now that we obviously, as I mentioned, we're a curated marketplace, each deal goes through our due diligence, and certainly in these times we always look at where is the company, what is the use of proceeds, what is the runway, right? So but it's definitely gaining momentum, and also in the investor community, more and more people start to become aware of this and interested, and we see now in the beginning, as Trias said, we started with small number of deals, and it was really the companies that drove the majority of the investors, which is still really important that they mobilize their communities. But what we now see is investors say, hey, actually, I'm already perhaps investing in public markets, which is not necessarily the most exciting place to be right now. So maybe look at the private market. Hey, I hear you can invest in private markets through FrontFundr. So we see investors sign up with FrontFundr, learn about private markets, investment opportunities, and then obviously, we hope then that they start investing through the platform. So yeah, it's definitely gaining momentum and up from here.
For sure. No, it's amazing to see that growth and trajectory for sure. I think bringing it back to basics for a moment here, for anyone who might be kind of newer to FrontFundr, who's tuning in, what would you say in terms of raising capital as a business, as an entrepreneur? What factors really drive a successful equity crowdfunding campaign?
It's a great question to ask. You're perhaps better positioned to answer that.
Maybe, but let's
Trias is driving, leading our campaign management team within our company, and obviously sees lots of different companies. But my perspective there is that companies that the key success factors is first off. We mentioned earlier that the industry is growing, but it's still, certainly here in Canada, it's still relatively early days, right? So companies that are typically doing well on our platform is companies that have a product or service that's easy to understand for the wider investor community. So consumer products and goods typically do well because people can identify, perhaps they're already a customer, and now they have an opportunity to invest in the actual company. Impact investing is also doing well. We actually had an event earlier this week on impact investing, and out of those 27 deals we have on the platform, about 50% is actually ESG oriented. So really, we see those companies do well, and no surprise, I guess. Investors want to see more of that. They want to drive that, and now they can literally vote with their investment dollars. So those kind of deals do well. What is important to understand, and was always every time we explain this to issuers, is it's not about launching on FrontFundr and we give the capital raise a call when the money is in. It's really FrontFundr is a platform to basically broadcast your company, your products and services. We help with the campaign management team with that, and we do all sorts of activities to support that. But ultimately, it's really important for the entrepreneur to tell their story. They're best positioned to tell their story. We provide a stage, we amplify their key messages, and that's really how we drive traffic, both through our existing investor community, as well as obviously jointly tapping new communities.
For sure. I think the big term there is really community capital. That's kind of the way to look at equity crowdfunding, is that you're really welcoming your community to join you as co-owners. You're looking to build new communities as well. So the companies that do well are those that have an established community already and that nurture that community. And that's certainly something to keep in mind even after you're done raising. You now have all of these shareholders who are super passionate about your business. They're brand ambassadors, and that actually can help drive the business forward a lot more as well. We've even seen throughout equity crowdfunding campaigns, as you're able to bring on customers as investors, have new investors become customers as well. It can actually help drive revenue for companies too, because why buy a competing product when you can instead buy the product from the company that you own? So it's a really exciting opportunity there, and it really all is about community. So that's what drives a successful raise there. I know we talked a little bit about kind of the challenges in the market currently, and how that 30% of startups failing due to funding is likely going to be higher over the next period, just as we're seeing kind of some uncertainty there in the market. So with that in mind, and I know we've talked about being a curated marketplace as well, what is our due diligence team kind of assessing right now in vetting companies to list on the platform?
Yeah, so in January, actually not that much has changed. As mentioned, each company goes through our due diligence process, and the purpose is really both it helps the company to make sure that they position their raise as best as possible, and with the appropriate disclosure, which is important for companies to basically do it right when you take investments from people. And then of course on the investor side, the purpose is to position the deal as best as possible for so investors are able to make informed investment decisions. So generally, what we look at, we meet with the founder, we look at business plans, we look at we look at all the sort of all the documentation, material agreements. We make sure that all the things that an investor through FrontFundr shouldn't have to look into themselves, we cover that. Right? And it also includes, are there any particular material agreements? Are there any certainly loan agreements outstanding or whatsoever? Valuation we look at. So now in this current market environment, yes, we particularly also look, of course, is okay, what is the use of proceeds? What is the runway of the company? How is it contributing to that? And what about the company's ability to respond to challenges now, reduce costs, that kind of thing. So we're definitely looking now closely at companies with regards to those areas, particularly to make sure that we are comfortable with that and listed on the platform.
Absolutely, I think challenging times generally breed more resilient companies who are able to do well and hopefully go on to grow in the future. And we've highlighted a little bit the fact too about investor resilience that we've seen on the platform, and kind of 46% of repeat investments that we've had in terms of our overall investment amounts. So I guess on the investor side, we know there's been some challenges in the public markets. I guess just from kind of our perspective with high inflation right now, rising interest rates and other factors, have we felt a bit of investor hesitation on our end?
Yeah, so great question, and you already mentioned the word resilience on the entrepreneur side. We see also a sort of resilience on the investor side. If we look at the last quarter, so it ended end of September, and we compare it to the previous quarter, we see a bit of a drop of the number of investments. So it's about 15% plus less. But on the other hand, we actually saw the average investments go up from about $1,500 to $3,000. So that's a average investment. So overall, that kind of makes up there. And on top of that, we also see certain, depends on the deals on the platform, whether closings, we see them increase traffic. So that can influence these numbers. But generally, bottom line now is that we see resilience on the investor side, and as evidenced by these numbers, and also likely has to do with the fact that you can invest through FrontFundr and make relatively small investments, right? So even if you're more cautious, so I'm gonna be sort of more cautious with how much I invest, particularly in the private markets, you can still make a number of smaller investments and diversify your portfolio and sort of manage the overall, let's say, exposure or investments you make. So I think that's definitely playing a role as well, is that we do facilitate the smaller investments, and funnily enough, as I just mentioned, last quarter we saw that average investment go up. So
yeah. No, it's true. I think we had a question come through from TJ here that I'd like to take a quick look at. Kind of builds on the topic of perhaps more reluctance from investment in the current market. So TJ is just wondering kind of, what deals are getting more or less traction kind of today, and have we perhaps, noticed a bit of a shift on that over time? So I can jump in on that one as well, but I'll hand it over to you first.
About to say just jump in as well, yeah. So from my perspective, companies that are typically in general, companies on FrontFundr have usually a story to tell, and meaning that they also have sort of traction. They're typically around the commercialization. They're already selling, they're already generating revenues, because that's obviously a proof of concept. So I think to that point, investors are particularly looking at companies that show evidence of that traction. So they're sort of further along the way. I mentioned earlier on, it continues to be companies where it's easy to pitch their idea, easy to understand for the wider investor communities. Those deals do particularly well on the platform.
For sure. I would add on that as well, just impact opportunities are doing quite well. And I think, studies have kind of shown that with impact investors in general, they're looking less at potential financial returns and more about backing companies that are creating positive change. And I think for us as a whole, we've certainly seen, there's a drive, there's a very strong interest for those impact focused deals. And that, I would say, stays pretty consistent regardless of how the market is performing. Those are the types of companies that we see investors want to support quite often. And to Peter Paul's point, we have a lot of impact-driven investment opportunities right now as well. So it's been great to see those companies perform well, even during what are more challenging times. We've had another kind of comment come through, more so comment than a question, from Clayton, just saying congratulations on everything we've accomplished so far. As a retail investor who's been with us since 2018, he's made 15 investments on the platform. Have to say, Clayton, that actually beats me. I've been investing on the platform since 2018 as well. And I think, as Peter Paul mentioned earlier, the idea that you can make a lot of smaller investments and really build a portfolio in the private capital markets is great. So it's fantastic to see that you've been doing that and being a nice brand champion for FrontFundr there. So we really appreciate that. Anything to add?
No, fantastic. I mean, when we had an event earlier this week about impact investing, as mentioned, there is a tremendous opportunity there. We all know how important that is. And we have, as mentioned, we have a majority of deals now in that space, and people care about that, and so they invest in companies that they believe in, that they believe can make change happen. But investing, it's really ultimately it's also an investment decision. But we see more and more investors that look not just at the top line or bottom line, but sort of the triple bottom line, if you like. So yeah, awesome, 15 investments. That's definitely advocates like you, Clayton, is really what is really important at this stage, because we're doing a lot of advocacy work, and education on both sides of the marketplace, explaining companies how this works, and as well as investors like, hey, you can invest too, and you don't need to be an angel. And so that's fantastic.
I think that's a nice tie-in too, to just talking about kind of how the industry has progressed over the last couple of years. Like we saw the harmonized national crowdfunding exemption come into play in September 2021, which really allowed to accelerate kind of capital raising for businesses. It also streamlined the process for retail investors and allowed them to invest more. So it brought a lot of clarity. And certainly since then, we've seen a lot of growth on our side as well. So now that kind of legislation's in place, we've got that traction and demand in place. How does FrontFundr look to kind of scale itself from here?
Yeah, and that is what Tess mentioned about the regulation, because that has been quite challenging in Canada, to say the least. Albeit because we have, often I say we're blessed with 13 securities regulators. So anyway, but we have now rules in place, which is great, because it offers companies more opportunities to raise capital and reduce their cost of raising capital, right? So and it's also evidence that this market is moving forward. We see these changes in regulation globally, by the way, and also in Canada. So this is here to stay. In fact, this is to grow. So to your point, how do we grow? How do we scale this? It comes basically down to now, we build momentum. We've got proven track record. We build a robust infrastructure with our, technology platform, combined with our, registered exempt market dealer status. The combination of those two has proven really powerful, enables us to continually make changes in advance, optimize the experience for entrepreneurs as well as investors, and make sure that at the same time it's always compliant, right? So scaling now is building out more features, functionalities for issuers, so they can better manage their capital raise, more analytics, that kind of thing. And on the investor side, further engagement. We've seen now, Clayton made 15 investments. We have a number of investors that start creating portfolios. So how can we, advance for investors to get engaged in their portfolio, their investments, send them updates and that kind of thing. So we have an investor dashboard already, as mentioned, but we're looking to advance that. And maybe, Tobias, you want to speak to this coming soon?
Absolutely. So we're looking at releasing a new feature actually next week, which is pretty exciting. So it's going to be a coming soon feature or early access. So essentially the companies that are going to be coming up for capital raises on the platform, we're going to actually make them visible a lot sooner now. So not just when they're ready for investment, but we're going to make them available in advance so that investors can come in, make reservations, get really excited about these deals before they come live, and then launch the campaigns from there. So for myself, actually, we had a version of this feature back in 2017, 2018, and that's actually how I came to FrontFundr as an investor. The deal that I was really excited about wasn't coming soon at the time. Had it not been, I don't know if I would have stayed for the other 4 live deals. They didn't quite align with my investment thesis as much as the one in coming soon. So because of that, I made a reservation, and by the time the campaign actually came live, I learned a lot more about the business, did my own personal due diligence on it, really liked some of the perks that they had to offer as well. And I actually ended up increasing my investment amount at the end of the day to become a shareholder. So we're going to be looking to drive a lot of excitement around these campaigns by showing you guys what's upcoming in advance. So we're really excited about that. We're going to be trialing that with some companies moving forward, and that'll become part of the fabric of what we do. So giving you guys an inside look at what's coming up, allowing you to kind of, reserve your spot, be one of those first investors through the door, so that when the investment opportunity does become available, you can be first in line for that investment there. So yeah, we're really looking forward to releasing that.
And I do see a question here, and that's actually with regards to from Clayton, with regards to warrant holdings. And the question is here is how does FrontFundr value these warrants, and where can I see that? And I think that's a great question. It circles back to the revenue model we discussed. Yep. So we're taking the cash trade fees as well as the warrants. And so without getting into too much technicality here, first off, we are an exempt market leader, so we have all the financial statements each year. We actually now started that because we just completed our financial year. So the warrants are valued using the so-called Black and Scholes, which is a stock option pricing model. So that's being used for warrants. There's obviously another market to market. So typically we're using the latest available let's say share price to value these warrants. So we do disclose that in our audited financial statements, and without being careful with the exact numbers. But what I can say to that is that the majority of the deals on the platform is at least 75%. Now, certainly if it's equity as opposed to, or perhaps debt or other products, we do get the warrants, which is great. And we've seen that also now in the warrant book, nearly in the last 2 years, nearly tripling. So, and again, but that's based on what it's on this Black and Scholes valuation. Obviously, we've also seen the first exits as well. So we've had a company in the past that went public, which was very successful. We also had a company where there was a partial acquisition. So there was also an opportunity for investors through FrontFundr for an exit. For liquidity, as well as, of course, for FrontFundr to monetize those warrants. So we fully disclose on that. You can see it on our platform under the documents. If you go to the from memorandum, the financial statement there, that's where you see it from the previous year. And we, as mentioned, we're drafting the financial statements as I speak.
For sure. No, that sounds good. I think I want to take a look at one of the other questions we've had come through the Q&A as well. So it's asking about quest rates specifically and how that may fit with our platform and integration there, both kind of with personal investments or registered accounts. So I know on the growth strategy slide that we had, we noted some of the partnerships we currently have, some of the partnerships we're looking to build, kind of within the capital markets ecosystem of, other equity crowdfunding platforms internationally, as well as, public platforms here in Canada. And then we, of course, mentioned the TELUS partnership there as well. So perhaps, Peter Paul, you can touch on a little bit like plan with companies like Questrade and Wealthsimple, and if there's, an opportunity to work together and what that might look like.
Yeah, it's a great question. And obviously, we mentioned it, right? Like we have invested in a platform that may well already be investing in the public markets through Questrade or through Wealthsimple. So on that note, we obviously know these platforms. We speak with them. They are interested in what we're up to with unlocking the private markets, and so we're definitely working on potential partnership opportunities where what we can do is bring investment opportunities in the private markets to these platforms, and with regards to registered plans. As mentioned, that is, I believe the majority, about 60% on the platform is RSP eligible, around that percentage.
Yeah, in terms of investment amounts, yeah.
Right, so it's significant, right? So definitely, as we scale, scaling the company through partnerships, as mentioned, is really key, and that includes exploring opportunities with partnership with regards to online platforms that are operating in the public markets.
Yeah. No, that's great for sure. Want to take a look at nice comment here from Frank. Just congratulations on your success with the platform and your own fundraising. Well done today. So thank you very much, Frank. Really appreciate that. I know, Peter Paul, you talked a little bit about the platform and how next steps are really making this, an easier experience for the issuers raising capital, also on the investor side. And also this week, we kind of had, our new head of product join the team as well. So perhaps you can talk a little bit on, kind of next steps in terms of product strategy moving forward and what that outlook is for FrontFundr.
Totally. Yeah, we're very excited that we have a new head of product, Scott Botner. He joined us. He worked for some other startup scale-ups, including Skip the Dishes. And so in general, I think it's good to know that where we are now as a company is that we're really grown with a really strong team that brings experience to the company, and in this regard, so Scott is bringing tremendous experience with regards to product. We have our proprietary technology platform that is ultimately the most feasible, or really our product on how we transact. So on the roadmap, TS talked about coming soon, which is really a key feature to help companies already test the waters and get them exposure. But what we now also on the product side really going to ramp up is both on analytics sides, right? And both we have more and more. We've done now over 120 deals. We've got a lot of data, and so how can we drive engagement by investors? How can we engage them from the very beginning as they sort of come in towards making the first investment, and after that, how can we continue to engage them after they made an investment? And so on the roadmap are both product innovation with regards to the experience when investors come at the door, if you like, as well as once they're a client and have made repeat investments, how can we further engagement? How can we also encourage them to basically share it in their networks? And as mentioned, is this advocacy and this sharing the experience and actually the possibility to invest in private markets, which is key. So yeah, for product innovation, there's lots to be done to support that.
Absolutely, which I think is a really exciting outlook for us over the next little while. I know for myself, I've been a user on the FrontFundr platform for quite some time. So not only as someone who works with all the companies, do I want to see, a great platform that gives them everything they need, but also on the investor side, I'm in the platform all the time looking at my own investments. So I think what we've got coming up in the pipeline is very exciting there, which is going to be great. One of the other kind of exciting things that we did this past year as well is working with kind of Station FinTech and going through the accelerator program there. I know the session that I was able to join for that, I found incredibly valuable. They had a lot of great insights. So any kind of key learnings or takeaways from having gone through that experience this year?
Yeah, that was through going through accelerator. This was out of Montreal with 7 other cohort companies. It's a great opportunity. First of all, it was obviously privileged that we were one of the companies selected to join that accelerator, and it's a great opportunity to work with peers, share experiences, and And it's actually been an early experience for our team as well. It was not just me, and TS was involved in sessions, and so lots of and you have really subject matter experts in multiple disciplines to bounce ideas and help us. So key takeaways there is really it's about certainly as we scale the business, how the importance of data and data analytics, making more and more decisions based on data and test what works, what doesn't work. If it works, do more of it, advance it, that kind of thing. So that's definitely been very helpful through those kind of initiatives, and in this case the FinTech Accelerator.
For sure. We had another comment come through from TJ here. Congratulations on your successes so far. Another proof that if you ain't Dutch, you're Dutch.
Nice one. Who's Dutch here? Is that
Yeah. Great comment from TJ there. Definitely love to see that. Final kind of reminder to everyone tuning in. If you have any questions today, do let us know through the Q&A. We've got a kind of couple more here that we wanted to run through. I know one of the ones we've obviously covered a lot of different elements of our strategy so far, and the growth that we've had over the last year. So is it possible to, I guess, elaborate a little bit more on how we arrived at the $25 million pre-money valuation for this round?
Sure. Yeah. So a couple of comments on that. So obviously coming up with that valuation, we look at a couple of things, comparables. So other platforms. So what we typically look at is how are they performing with regards to revenues. And we had revenues last year 1.8, with revenues this year just over 2 million, 2.1, including warrant income. So we're looking there at around 11 times our current trading revenues, about 11 times. Yeah. That's one, which is compared to other platforms significantly lower. They've been raising on easy 25 times, 30 times, which obviously in the current market sentiment is something that's is in the past. But I think it's important to say that with regards to the valuation, we opened this raise, which was in around April, May, is that obviously we've been advancing the platform and growing as well. We've been fairly conservative on the revenue side. Secondly, you look at origination multiples. As mentioned, we raised actually the valuation was based on about 110,000 processed through the platform. We've now done more than 140 million through the platform. So that multiple is about 30%, which is also on the conservative side. And then thirdly, we're looking obviously at the investor side. We have a community of 35,000, and the value per investor, which in our case is around $885 compared to other platforms, and other platforms mainly in the US and the UK that are looking at significantly higher, so $1,400. So overall, taking into account the current market environment and valuations under pressure, we believe that we've already been very rather conservative at the beginning. And so if you would sort of look where we are in today's valuation environment, if you like, we feel that we're definitely in the middle and sort of accounted for the fact that valuations are under pressure. So
absolutely. To kind of close things off today here with a final question, I just want to reshare the slide that we have here. So for those who do want to book kind of a one-on-one with Peter Paul, we do have a scannable QR code there. You can book a time in Calendly to chat with him. And also for those wanting to learn more, would recommend you check out our FrontFundr campaign page. We have a QR code for that as well. And the URL is pretty straightforward. It's frontfundr.com/FrontFundr. So you should be able to find us pretty easily there. And we're also currently in our own investment opportunities as well as one of the 27 live deals that we have. To kind of wrap things up today, I usually ask this question to kind of every company at the end of the session, but just for all those who are tuning in today, why should they invest in FrontFundr?
First off, we talked about there's a tremendous opportunity in the private markets to, as an investor, whether you're a large or smaller investors, to get access to that asset class. That's what we're doing. This is as mentioned, is fast growing, and we're enabling that with FrontFundr. And so investing in FrontFundr means that you're investing in a company that gain momentum, that's on a strong growth path, and we also supporting basically driving accessibility and inclusivity on both sides of the marketplace. Ultimately, I see FrontFundr as a purpose-driven company, and that's why we want to have as many investors as we can. We're already on north of 1,000. So I'd say, join us, help us to scale this business and basically, drive this investor revolution.
Absolutely. I think to your point of being a purpose-driven company there, all the faces that you see on the thank you screen are all entrepreneurs that we've had the pleasure of working with. I know for myself in particular, guiding them through the campaign preparation process. And it's amazing to see what they've built and, the impact that they're creating out in the world with their products and services. So it's a really great thing that we do. It's a really great thing that all of our investors are able to do by supporting these entrepreneurs. And, definitely looking forward to continuing to grow that moving forward. So for those tuning in today, thank you. Appreciate your time and staying with us for this session here. I mentioned early on, it was a special edition, not only with it being about FrontFundr, but also being our first Pitch Perfect in person. So appreciate it as you stayed with us until we got the slides sorted out there. As I mentioned as well, we will follow up with the slide deck of the recording of the presentation as well. You can also view it on our campaign page. And then we will make the webinar available on YouTube after. So you can watch it. If there's any friends or family in your network who are interested too, feel free to send them the link so that they can learn a little bit more about FrontFundr. And then just wrapping up here today as well, we do a monthly session of Pitch Perfect. So we're going to be looking to do a second one in November as well with another 5 companies who are currently raising on the platform. So we're looking at, I believe, November 17th for that right now. So mark your calendars and stay tuned. But would really like to thank everyone for joining. Thank you, Peter Paul, for delivering a fantastic pitch on FrontFundr today. Any final words that you want to add?
No, thanks to the audience. Thanks
Absolutely.
to you. Yes.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
No, it's nice to finally be able to do one of these sessions for ourselves. So really appreciate that there. And thank you for being a part of the FrontFundr community. We wouldn't be here without all of you. So with that in mind, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And as we mentioned, feel free to reach out to Peter Paul for a one-on-one or, go through the campaign page with any questions that you may have. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.